This is Firecrackers. You've missed quite a lot, but don't worry, you can catch up with us on our Facebook page. We stream live on Facebook. And now to the topic we have at the time, that is Nigeria's independence amid foreign influence. So let us even start by wishing Nigeria congratulations, yes, 64 years post-independence. Yes. So let us even first start with how has it been so far? What places do you think that we could work on before we actually move on to the topic of today?
Well, it's I think we just have to go back to the drawing table. 64 years as independent country, and in the past, independence used to have its charm. People were interested in it. I remember when we were in school, we were looking forward to independence. You go for march past, everybody were looking forward to that. But now independence has become a celebration of few elites in power in Abuja. Doesn't draw that attraction. It doesn't elicit much thought and interest. Why? Because people are tired. People are hungry. People are they have no means of livelihood, and this is something that really, the government should really confront squarely. We don't assume that everything is going okay because you have some propagandists in Abuja who are making up stories and all that. But the reality is that, look, people are tired, people are hungry, people cannot find means of livelihood. This is what, we should tackle, And it should transcend party politics, it should transcend propaganda here and there, because it's affecting everybody. If people are hungry, there's nothing you can do, They don't have incentive to do anything, okay? As we speak now, some people have, gone on medical tourism, where in Nigeria we don't have serviceable primary health system. It's not there. So there are so many things going on. We're not saying that, look, it should be tackled, instantaneously, immediately. We're not looking for miracle, but at least we want to see the steps, that the government is putting in place to arrive there. If you don't find first steps, then something is wrong. What is going to happen tomorrow? What is going to happen next month? What is going to happen next year? So the uncertainty is there. People are just get up in the morning, anything that confronts you, you think this is Nigeria that we're living in today. You're not sure of anything. What we are saying is that we cannot live our life like this. So much uncertainty, so much anxiety, so much despondency, and all that. It should not be. We are celebrating independence. 64 years is not okay. It's not to compare to other countries, like US and all that. We know it's simple, but it's more. But at least we want to see a step, towards the people in power to say, look, this is where we're going to arrive tomorrow, next month, next year. But right now, we don't need to have that. We don't have that. We're just doing trial and error, kind of fire brigade approach and all that today. People in Abuja say one thing tomorrow. People in that state will say another. People in Benin, people in the state. We don't know where we are going. So this is my concern, really, that we have to sit up, and and why we are tackling the leaders is that because if the head is rotten, it trickles down. This is what we are saying. This thing we are complaining happening in River State, happening in Benin State, happening in Edo State. But is that people have seen that look that what happened in 2023, that the thuggery and the violence that marked the election of 2020, the presidential election, where there are no consequences. Even people that went to court, they didn't get justice. So they feel now they can do it and get away too. You see? So that's why we're talking about leadership. When leadership at the top collapses, it affects the local government and so on and so forth. So that is very, very important. That's why we are seeing all this happen now, because people don't care anymore, because they feel they can win the election and get away with it. They can steal and get away with it. They can do anything and get away with it. There are no consequences. So they go about doing whatever they like. And that's why saying the same thing that we should go back to drawing board. The political leaders should say, look, this is where we want Nigeria to be next month, next year, in the future. Not just doing all this trial and error and these making speeches around there. It will not save us.
Okay, definitely.
Yes,
So now talking about things that might not necessarily save us, despite the fact that Nigeria has been independent for 64 years, it seems that we are only independent on paper, but not in the actual sense of it, because we still have a lot of foreign influences directing our affairs here. If we're going to start with the very obvious ones, when it comes to our economy, we have a dollarized economy. That this is even part of the things that is giving the present day administration lots of problem. Regulated dollar, which has trickled down to even affect prices of goods and commodities in the market. So when it comes to borrowing money, we also have to acknowledge that we have to do it in the terms and conditions of the people who want to give us this money. So this leads us to talk about one that things that we're very passionate about. Yes, that is the Samoa Agreement. Yeah, although the federal government is saying that for this particular agreement, there's nothing like the enabling LGBTQ rights in Nigeria. But then now, according to the African Bar Association, they are saying that it is sort of hidden there, because when you're talking about human rights in general, the right to life, right to belong to an association and all that. So is it not in a way conflicting when one individual presents themselves as this, recognizes themselves or projects himself in a way, and then we are saying that you can't do this because in our own cultural way it is not allowed, yet it is conflicting with the human rights clause.
Yes. And we touched a very important area. This is, we started by saying that okay, though we have gotten our independence, it's as if it's just independence of paper, or what is called flag independence. That's saying that we have to use our flag, but in terms of economic, political independence, even cultural independence, we don't have it. No, some people are still saying that we are still, the cultural imperialism in which we are passing through is because those who have our former colonial masters are still holding it over us. And Nkrumah was so, he called the word neocolonialism. He said that, look, although we have gotten independence, what we have was just flag independence. But in reality, the former colonial masters are still holding us from over there. And it's very important because when you lose your identity, you are nobody, okay? And African countries should be wary of their independence. They are independent nations, and they should exercise that independence because they are no longer under the control of the former colonial masters. But what is happening now is that although we have gotten the independence, African countries have gotten their independence, including Nigeria, they are still there's been controlled by the West or by the former colonial masters. And this is very, very dangerous because what is happening now is that as if many African countries are ceding their sovereignty, are ceding their sovereignty to these powerful countries in the West, to the extent that they control them and tell them what to do, how to govern their affairs, how to make their laws, and so on and so forth. This is very dangerous, and it should not happen because it's a complete abuse, it's a complete insult, it's a human rights violation, complete human rights violation, and we have to put a stop to it. You mentioned the Samoa Agreement. Samoa Agreement, very Samoa Agreement, you mentioned loans. I mean, they are coming to Africa instead of asking for loans. African leaders should be able to say, look, we can survive without loans because the loans that are being given are given with strict conditionalities. They are given with strict attachment, something that you have to do in order to access the loans. They say that there is no free lunch anywhere. So when somebody abroad is giving you loans, he also wants you to do certain things. And this is why we are saying that Africa should not. There's nowhere Africa. There's nowhere loan. I mean, has said loan has not helped in African countries. Just to put it this way, okay? There's no African country that has survived or that is standing tall today because of loans. Because what happens in the case of loans is that when they are giving with the right hand, they are collecting with the left hand. So it's not free, okay? in most cases they ask you to destroy your human capital or deconstruct your human capital, okay? And why are they interested? Because they're interested because they are afraid that you might become a world power. When we say this, people say, it's conspiracy theory. It's not conspiracy theory because it is happening, okay? For example, I think that there's no African countries that has taken loan that is standing tall today. Many of them, after the loan is not actually a loan because they're taking so much from you. Your raw materials, your everything, that your country telling you what to do, how to organize yourself, what was the night, and so on and so forth. Right now, all what we are interested in is to make sure that every country promotes LGBT, promotes abortion, promotes so-called sex education in school, and so on and so forth. That's what I'm interested in. And if you can listen properly, you can see that these people are interested in decapitating our human capital. They are interested in destroying our human capital. Otherwise, why can't they give us loan? Why can't they give us money for good things to develop our infrastructure, power, electricity, and so forth? They will never. They will give you money so that you destroy your human capital. Specifically in the case of Samoa Agreement, Samoa Agreement is a post-Cotonou agreement. It's supposed to be a purely trade agreement between the European Union and African, Caribbean, and Pacific countries. You know. In fact, one of that Samoa Agreement originally means European Union versus ACP, that is African, Caribbean, and Pacific countries. But because the agreement was signed in Island called Samoa, it's not given Samoa Agreement. But the original means European Union, African, Caribbean, and Pacific countries. It's a post-Cotonou agreement, pure trade agreement, but in the year 2020, European Union inserted these LGBT provisions in the agreement. They are saying, fine, we want to trade with you, do business with you, you have to promote LGBT. I was one of the lawyers that participated in the negotiation of Samoa Agreement. In the past 2 years, I've been traveling to many African countries for the discussion. I saw with my 2 eyes how the European Union trying to lobby, okay? Lobby is a good word, I can even use the word bribe, you know, with money to make sure that African leaders succumb to accepting those the 12 deceptive provisions in the Samoa Agreement. Because they know very well that a country in Nigeria will have anti-gay law, we have same-sex provision act, it's our law. But they want to, from the back, they want to make it, they want to destroy that law by ensuring that our officials sign the Samoa Agreement. Because once you sign the Samoa Agreement, the enforcement starts. And as a lawyer, I know that very well that anything is signed in Nigeria, because Nigeria practices the dual system, okay? If a treaty is signed, it has to be domesticated and ratified by virtue of Section 12 of the Constitution before it takes off. But in the case of Samoa Agreement, it's so deceptively drafted in such a way that once you have made your signature as a country, enforcement starts. As you speak, Samoa Agreement is being implemented in Nigeria. I traveled to Abuja 2 weeks ago, and it's going on, and nothing happened. They don't care about our laws, whether you domesticate, whether you ratify. They don't care because that is how serious it is. You have put your signature, and don't forget that Samoa Agreement is open-ended. It's saying that it's not, the agreement has not ended. First of all, the agreement has no interpretation clause. Okay? It has no, there's provision there that says that the Nigerian officials will continue to meet every year and add certain things, no, in the agreement. So it's not a finished agreement. It's like giving somebody an open check and say, look, go ahead any amount of money that you like. That's how Samoa Agreement is. And many lawyers are speaking as if they know about Samoa Agreement. Except you participate in the negotiation or you know the language of the European Union, the euphemistic language. I go to the United Nations, so I know the language of the EU, so I can authoritatively say that Samoa Agreement contains at least 12 deceptive euphemistic provision that has to do with LGBT promotion, that has to do with safe-sex, you know, this safe-sex, maybe we can talk about it in another day. They've gone to secondary schools and corrupted the syllabus, okay, which our children are using in school, corrupted it to include masturbation, breast enlargement, all sorts of yes, JSS and boys and boys and girls, you know, that's what they're learning, including sterilization, because I mentioned about human capital destruction. They are interested that Africa does not grow, especially Nigeria as the most populous country, because they know that population is power. The Chinese are all about because of the population. Because Europe is becoming extinct. It's going down because they no longer populating. People are no longer born. The same thing with Canada. When Canada opens its border, you think that they are doing charity. No, they want to go to the workforce. So this country are already in trouble. And they're targeting African countries like Nigeria, that is still growing, and they say we want to decapitate this country because they're going to become a world power. People don't believe it, but this is what happened. They have to read the Kissinger report that talks about the potentiality you find in Africa. If not for corruption, Nigeria have become a great country. We have everything in this country. We have the human resources, we have the natural resources, we have everything. In the 70s, Nigerian currency was far ahead of the dollar. Okay? If not for corruption and all this and all this and all. So they know this, and what they're trying to do is to ensure that that capacity is destroyed. We have heard about the GMO food, GMO food, we mentioned it about 15 years ago. People did not believe. Right now, it is happening, When people like Bill and Melinda Gates come here and start telling you about your health, about what the hell have Melinda, Bill Gates got to do with our health and our agriculture and all that. But that's what they are doing. So what we are saying is that Nigeria, we are celebrating our independence. We should be really independent, Look, about our laws, we know what is good for us as a people. We are not small boys, okay? We have professionals, Nigerian professionals are making waves abroad, So we are no longer small and all that. And so we don't want any country to be leveraged over us. I can't go to New York or whatever and be told they have to make their lives, how to live their lives.
Let us look at it this way. In a country where this LGBTQ is in their law, they talk about inclusivity and all that, and then United States of America is still one of the largest economy in the world. So if they have this law, then it is not incapacity, it is not destroying their economy.
It takes some time because it's a big power and all that. They are having challenges now. The challenges they are having is that look, they don't have the population anymore. They are relying so much on immigrants, Immigrants who are in their population. In many offices, you see immigrants who are working. They're concerned about it because the citizens are not to be found. That's why somebody like Trump is insisting that America first, because he's afraid that look, we open your borders, immigrants come in and take over. So they are concerned that, and that's why that whole civilization is under threat. Yes, people are saying that in few years, by the year 2020, they're going to lose their civilizational value completely. They're going to lose their power. That's why China and Russia is the new threat to America and all that because they are coming. Okay? And they are afraid they are going to lose their power because Russia and China, all that come out around that. So if the US is not careful, they're going to lose everything completely because of all this thing of transgender and all that. Don't mind that. Look, this transgender issue and all this LGBT, it has to do with, incapacitating the human being in terms of, you don't have children, okay? Because, these people, man marrying a man, there's no children, they are not orphans, So who is going to take over from their oldest when they die?
But there's surrogacy. There's the option of surrogacy.
Surrogacy is not so common. And surrogacy has its own crisis, has its own problems. There's no power that is better than having children in the normal way. The normal way that, and once you are told that way, surrogacy, IVF, all the LGBT, you don't have, it's not, you wishy-washy, that's not there. Because that's not the natural way that God has made that the human population should increase. The normal way, once you afford that, once you tamper with it, you're going to smile dearly for it. So that's why many of them are suffering from what is called demographic crisis.
But what about here in Nigeria that couples who have issues with giving birth, that even medical professionals are advising them to go for options like surrogacy and IVF? Is that not something to be considered?
It's very expensive. It's very expensive, and And also, it's quite dangerous. I don't know where you have come across. Forget about the moral aspect now. I'm talking about the medical, disadvantage that it has. You have all these so-called fertility clinics all over. You don't just walk in there and you just start everything else. No. First of all, the women that go on, that undergo this IVF, they will tell you that it has dramatic effect in their bodies. Their body will start changing somehow. Only the few who have gotten out of it that we see, when they come out, they have twins and they get out with the body and all that. But many go there, they don't succeed, okay? The same thing with surrogacy. Surrogacy, they come to my office, a boy here, and they wanted me to draft an agreement. I said, look, first of all, it is illegal because, it has to do with trafficking. Natural law is against surrogacy, because also the Child Rights Act, because there are so many problems. When that child is born, is about to be born, whose child is it? He see the child of the person that wanted the child, okay? Because the more person, the ladies change their mind and say, this is my child, I'm going to take the child, whether you have agreed or not. When the baby comes to life, they have attachment to the child, they want to take the child. And not only that, whose parent is the child? Whose citizen? Because people are going abroad and mixing egg or whatever, bringing it to Nigeria and putting inside some girls, and they call it designer baby, So that designer baby comes around. Whose what is where did the child come from? Okay, the nationality of the child. Is it from Europe? Is it from Nigeria? Because the eggs come from Europe, So there are many issues. I have participated in a conference that was April this year, in which one of the speakers was the product of surrogacy. A young lady, she's now married, and she was weeping and said, look, what she passed through before she got married and all that. It's not a very good experience. We can just say it's not like drinking a tea. That's okay. Go to IVF, you walk in, walk out, surrogacy, There are many issues. That are involved. Very problematic. And that's why we are saying, okay, have children of your own. If you don't have children of your own, you can do adoption, okay? Adoption is almost like, it's flawless, although it can be good version because the laws are not so straightforward, Many people are looking for children, okay? But adoption is flawless and all that. And it's also doesn't affect the health of the woman. But then you go into IVF, and then you go into surrogacy. Surrogacy is the greatest abuse on women, okay? On women, because the woman is treated as an object, okay? You have to do for Mr. A, tomorrow you're having for Mr. B, next tomorrow you're having for Mr. C. Whose wife are you? You're not the wife of any of them. They're using you as an object, as a conduit to have a baby. It's not
I really wish you could go on, but we are really running out of time. So, but I have to ask this question now. When it comes to, for example, now, if a man is objectifying a woman, it is wrong, but we also have issues of consent coming to play, and then the human right to, right to expression. Someone saying that this is actually what I want, despite regardless of what anyone could think about it. So does this not cover, is it not part of the person's human right to say that I want to do this, despite the fact that people are frowning against it? I'm not taking anywhere.
People that, okay, you can call it, okay, people call it choice, my choice,
Yes.
I have a choice to do with my body, what's it like. At the end of the day, what they are really expressing is not actually right, because it becomes a license, because right need to have a foundation. You can't have a right to do whatever you like. It's not only a right. You can't have a right to go and kill somebody in the streets. It becomes it's not only a right that you're expressing. So whatever you feel to do, you don't do it. You don't want it to right, because don't forget that in law, you are free to swing your hand with your hands. When you have time hitting the other person, you don't get your right not to swing your hand anyhow. So what you are trying to say that society has to be organized in such a way that right has to be founded on foundation, proper foundation of the human being, okay? You don't have to do anything with life, you call it your right. The state has the right to say, look, fine, this thing you call your right cannot be your right. You have the right to smoke in your house, but the state say, no. You can't do that because you are offending the public, by the state, by doing that. You have the right to go on armed robbery, you can't do that because you are robbing somebody's property, and the state can arrest you and try you and sentence you. So right has to be predicated on proper foundation, okay? And that foundation is foundation of who is a human being. You can't go and start acting the animal in the street and say, after all, this man, I can do whatever I like. No. Okay? So, right has to be defined in context, you know? And even that choice has to be exercised in context.
So that means that despite the fact that there is human rights, we're trying to say that morality too has to guard the larger aspect of human rights.
Of course, law is not moral, but sometimes every law has elements of morality in it, you know? Because you can't have a right if you go to the street and start doing whatever you like. The state will arrest you. Okay? You can't say, I do whatever I like and just doing it. You can't do that. For instance, a person of villager in Nigeria, you can say, okay, fine, I have a right to use my body the way I like, I have a right to do abortion, but the state say no. You can't do that because it's illegal in Nigeria. We don't want you to abort babies because we are killing them. Okay? So this is where the state comes in. The state has the right to come and say, look, you don't have the right to do whatever you like. Okay? You don't have the right to go to the street and appear naked and that's in the state to arrest you and say, look, there's something wrong with this man.
Okay, alright. I wish we could go on and on about this topic because when it comes to foreign influence in Nigeria, it goes a long way, and even if we spend the audio on it, believe me, we still have so much more left to cover. Well, this is where we will be drawing the curtain